Okay, so finally on to Ultima 3 Exodus. Now, what I've decided to do is just at the beginning, before we go into anything, is explain about how different the game can look depending on what hardware it was run on. So, obviously, this was released in 1983. Subsequently re-released, and was also patches made available for it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what the game looked like in the various different modes. So, this is the first one. This is CGA graphics in 4 colours. And you'll notice we have sound. So, your CGA palette was pretty much black, white, cyan and purple. And CGA monitors were supposed to make it appear different. So, as you can see, we've got music. We've also now got animated characters. It's not just the water that moves now. Monsters actually have idle animations and things like that. And what you'll also notice is 4 heroes on screen. We have a party in Ultima 3. So CGA graphics, as you can see, are pretty primitive. So let's move on to the next level of CGA. Fortunately, I've just got to go through a little configuration each time I do it, but I'll edit all this out. So this is going to be CGA Composite, which is 16 colour, and will make a massive difference. Okay, you'll notice it runs a lot slower on the rastering part of that. You also notice the odd mottling of the textures. I don't know if that's intentional, whether that's just an issue with how it works on the emulated version, but you'll see that we've got a bit more range in colour. It's still only, you know, very basic, and it really doesn't look nice. I'll just have to say that. It actually looks better in the 4 colour CGA. But everything, obviously, it's just how it's displayed. It doesn't change the artwork or anything like that. It's purely the colour. Okay, so let's move on to funky. On to EGA graphics. So good, I'm going to be editing this. Okay, so this is EGA, which is 16-bit colour again, but an improvement on the overall CGA standard, as you'll see. So we've now actually got full colour sprites. And more than acceptable speed on the animation, and the overall scene looks much better. So gone is that horrible kind of rendering bleed that was with the 16-bit. The CGA 16 colour. So looks a lot better. Now the next one is something that was available much later. This is, in fact, no. This is going to be the alternative EGA tile set. This is part of the patch in Pix's Patcher. And it's a modified shapes.ega file, which essentially they've drawn from the Ultima IV EGA graphics patch. So I'll give you the comparison there, so just so you can see it, and I'll stick the standard EGA side by side as well, so you can see. So, title screen, nothing appears to have changed. It looks exactly the same. But if you look at the sprites now, they're a lot more detailed. Now, this reminds me a lot more of the console versions of Ultima III. It's quite 8-bit console generation style graphics. So we're hoping then that ranged actually works in this game based on that, attacking the dragon. Right, so the last one that we will see is VGA. So a whole 256 colours, which of course is a massive step up from 16. So here it is in 256 colour VGA. And as you can see, it looks a lot different. The outcome's always the same though. So, you can see this is a much nicer version of what we've just seen, the patch. It really sort of clears some of the graphics up. Now, I personally won't be playing it using any of the later style graphics. I'm going to play it in the EGA style graphics, purely because that's what I remember, and it's more true to the original. So let us revert that back to EGA. I just wanted to show everybody what it was like. And the recommendation for the sound is that it's run on the MPU 401 General MIDI synth. Now, I'm tempted to try and run it on the Roland synth, but for compatibility, I'm going to run it on the General MIDI, just to avoid any issues. So, here we go. Ultima 3.